Hi FlossTube Stitchers, this is Shelly at Just Stitching Inc. in Strongsville, Ohio. Today was Grandparents' Day, and those of us who still live in town went to my dad's place where they were hosting an ice cream social with lots of toppings, and they had advertised that there would also be a craft and a time for sharing memories. But they only had it scheduled for 1 hour. And I thought, how are they going to do all that in an hour? And then I thought, well, maybe the craft was something like really simple and it was meant for kids. So the other day when I was there visiting my dad, I thought I'd check with the receptionist at the front desk, and she had no more information than what was originally advertised. And she said, no, it says it's for the whole family. So we get there and there's 5 of us and my dad. My dad did not participate in the craft. He is not crafty or handy. He's not a gardener or no, his thing was sports. He was a good coach and supporter of all of us kids in sports, but he wasn't good at these types of things. So he just watched. So there were 5 of us. And the craft was pre-stretched canvases with a painted bare branched tree on it. And we were supposed to use our thumbprints in paint to make leaves on the tree. Well, of course, we're all overthinkers. None of us are painters, except Mark and Patty and maybe Caitlin have done those events at local places where they do like wine and painting, and you might send your photo ahead and they'll sketch it out and then help you do it. Because I know they have a few paintings in their house that they've done that way. The latest ones, I think, were their dog Chico and their bird Shiloh, who you've met. But this was a little bit different because this was, you know, free form and actually sticking your hands in the paint, and I don't know. So we overthought it. And I said, oh, I don't think I can use my thumb. I mean, my nails aren't that long, but I just wasn't, I thought I would get paint on my nail and then I would be making these extra little marks on it. And so I had said I was going to use my ring finger. And my brother's making fun of me, and I go, no, I use my ring finger sometimes on my iPad for a little better control. Anyway, then we thought that that would be too small, and I said, no, if everybody uses a different finger, then the leaves will be different size. Yes, we're overthinking it. So we each took a turn. I only used 1 color. Some people used 2, but I didn't want to keep washing off my finger, so I just stuck with 1 color. And we each took a turn making some leaves, and then we would pass it around until we were done. Well, we were the last ones there, and it was way after 2. So it was just funny. My husband didn't make any leaves at all. He thought of the ground, so he did dirt at the bottom, and I'm like, oh God, George, why would you do that? You're gonna ruin the picture. But I didn't want to say anything because this was a family project, and even though I was nervous, you know, you want to let everybody release their creativity. And then he just, for his next pass around, he decided, or actually he did dirt twice because I said it needs more dirt. It doesn't look intentional yet. And the third pass around, he decided to put a sun in the sky. And I'm like, oh no, what is this gonna look like? It turned out really cute. Anyway, we were the last ones there. My brother even went into the adjoining room to make sure. And I said, what would Mother say if she were here? We won! Because I can't remember who started it. It might have been my father who started joking that, because I think my mom would, you know, at an event or at someone's house, she might offer to help clean up, or especially if it was one of us, or at an event, she might just, you know, end up talking to a few friends. And so it might have been my dad that started it by, Joanne, we won, we can go home now, if we were the last one someplace. So it kind of became a family joke. Anyway, I'll put the pictures, just one of the family, and I'll put this at the end. I tried to practice showing it where you couldn't see the overhead light. So, okay, let me try to, okay. Anyway, the only decision my dad made was I had asked him, do you want your name at the top? Which I'm glad we didn't do, because then there wouldn't have been room for the sun. And, or do you want your last name or your first name or the initials? He kind of liked the initials. And so I just drew the initials at the bottom. And I said, would you like me to get this custom framed for you? And he just laughed, and I thought he's going to put it in a drawer. So my husband thought, oh, you could put it on an easel and put it on a shelf in his little mini china cabinet, and then he doesn't have to fuss with it. It doesn't need to get dusted. It'll stay safe. And he's never moved anything that we've put in there, so we'll put it on display. But anyway, it was more fun than I thought it would be, but I don't know. My friends have called me crafty, and I'm like, I'm not really that crafty. I really just like to stitch. But anyway, okay, so that's what we did for Grandparents' Day. Okay, then my vintage stitch today is not mine. It's from our customer, Kate. Let's see if I can get this without too much glare. It's called Bountiful by You and I and Friends. And after they moved on to needlepoint and kind of retired their cross-stitch company, Ruth from Twisted Threads took it over, and so she was providing charts to any shops that wanted them. And I have referred people to her site for those to see what's available, and also for her diagram and instructions on how to stitch over one, because her instructions were different from other people's, and those are the ones that I followed. So this must have been a few weeks ago, and somebody had said, oh, I can't find You and I patterns, and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to go get the link. If this group allows me to put a link, I'm going to go get the link to the page so I can show them that, yes, they're still available. And her site was down. And I thought, oh, well, I wonder if it's my internet, or I wonder if there's some kind of glitch, or maybe she's updating her site or fixing some, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I went on a few hours later, and then I went on the next day and it wasn't there. So I messaged her or emailed her, and I said, hey, I was just wondering. And she wrote back, yes, that she had quietly closed her shop the week before. And I thought, oh, shoot, I wish I would have had one last chance to get some charts. And anyway, it's, they say that designers know when they're ready to stop doing it. But anyway, I thought I would show this now while we still had some charts left. So this is how they're being repackaged in the plastic bag. They used to come in a brown paper envelope, but I have 3 of them. So if you want it, this is the time to get it, because she really didn't give anybody else, one last opportunity. And they've been retired from cross stitch for quite a while. This chart is from 1998, and that's when Kate had stitched it. We haven't had it as a model this long. We had just gotten it recently, whenever I figured out that the charts were still available. So we've had it for, a number of years, but not 30 years. So anyway, I thought now's the time to do it, since these might go fast this fall, and then I won't be able to get any more. The other company that just closed quietly recently was Amy Brecken. So I've been around long enough to know them from the beginning of their business. So it's kind of sad, but again, I guess they kind of know. Okay, then the new shop model it's not what it says here. Let's see. It's called My Garden in Autumn. And I always want to call it Autumn in My Garden, or Autumn in the Garden, because that's what it says here. So this is on loan from Marlene. She did it in 2023, but I think maybe she just got it framed recently. So this is the first time that we've had it. This is actually a pin set that kind of goes in the fabric before it's finished, if it's being framed. Obviously, if you're doing it as a a soft pillow or something, you can put those in when after it's been constructed. The chart is $10. And then we have 1 pack left of the fabric, the trim, and the pin set. The fabric and trim is $15. I think this is the way it goes. That's $15. I'm just selling it together because I'm sure that's what people would want to do. And then the pin set, I think, is $10 or vice versa. So if you're interested, let me know soon. Okay. Alrighty. So those were all the finished things I'm going to show you. And then some of these are marketplace finds. Some of these are autos that we had. I'm going to start with fabric first. And these are from Fiber on a Whim. And each day during the recent needlework marketplace, they would send an email saying what they had ready to ship. Oh my gosh, I love ordering from ready to ship because it's very easy to make a decision. I don't have a list of things that I'm looking for. I'm just looking for maybe the count that I think I need, or neutral colors that I was looking for. But she also gave a list of the designers that were using these colors. So I didn't necessarily get the exact fabric that was being used in some of the new charts. I didn't even necessarily have plans to order those charts. I just took advantage of the ready to ship. Okay, I have 3 18-count Adas. It's Dune, Hazelwood, and Wheat. Wheat is kind of similar to Dune, but it's lighter. And these look slightly different in the Lugana and the linen. I did not take the time to match these up with any DMC numbers, but if you're interested, just let me know in the comments or reach out to me through email and I can figure that out for you. Next, we have 32 Lugana, and I'm just going to refresh my memory for the colors. We have Butternut Squash, Dunes, and Slate. Next, we have 32 Belfast, Dunes. You can see this one came out darker, and Wheat. And then the rest are 36. And again, we have Dunes, Hazelwood, and Wheat. I thought if I showed them together, you'd get see a little bit of a contrast, and the colors would show up better than just individually. Alrighty. Okay, so next, let me show you these aren't in any particular order, but these are the wood-shaped stitchable forms, whatever, from Canadian Stitchery. And the first 9 are the new ones, and then I'm sure I got 4 or 5 that I was out of. I also have another bin of previous ones, more of the ugly sweaters. So anyway, yeah, like I said, these aren't in really any particular order. They're all $20. This is Polly Penguin, the Gingerbread House, Neptune Narwhal, Nifty Nelson. My brothers had sock monkeys. I should do those for my brothers as a surprise. Huggable Hank. And the Yeti. All right, then I have Squishy Snowman, the Gingerbread Boy. I need to do either the gingerbread or the house because I have some other gingerbread things. Then there's a Nutcracker. It's a little bit smaller. than the other shapes. Then there's 2 different cardinals. They're both round. This is sitting on a branch, and this one is called the flying cardinal. I know these will be popular because the cardinal is the state bird for so many different states, including ours, and also just because it's associated with winter and with remembering family and that sort of thing. Then these are some of the older ones also. Frankie Fox. That could go on an autumn tree. Rauncey Raccoon. Wonder where the name Rauncey came from. And then I don't have the black cat. Was back ordered, so I didn't get that one yet, but I did get Sid the Spider. And I'm going to wait till black cat comes because I want to do at least one of these for my Halloween tree. But I want to, I don't know, I want to make the decision when I have both of them in front of me. Okay, then from Marketplace, we got Stitches by Ethel. Halloween Moon. Christmas Moon, which I think my framer is going to stitch. The Joyful Christmas Ornaments 2025. Chicken and Waffles. This is so cute. Apparently, it was designed for her friends who have a donkey named Waffles. And then Holly Basket Pin Keep. That's really pretty. Alrighty. And then, let's see. Here's another one from Marketplace. Okay. I guess it'd be helpful if I held these in the right way. So these are more of the cat series. July, August, September, October. And I think I said before, we don't have cats anymore, but these are so cute. I'm half tempted to do it, but I might wait and see how many more dogs she does. She has done this shape, and then she's done a Scotty dog. I did not get any of those this time. And she said she's going to do a couple more dog shapes. So I might wait and see what other kind of dog shape. And so I might do this series instead of the cats. And I don't know what happened to July, so I just threw Strawberry Dog in there because I think that one's newer. There's the October. And then Cat Dad. I think I might have been out of that last time I showed those. Then Beekeeping Crows. Patriotic Liberty House. And Sunflower Serenade. Okay, then next will be, yes, so then we got the Plum Street Automatic. Happy Birthday USA. That is really cute. Miss Pilkington's Cottage. Very colorful house. This little design was inspired by an antique I own that was stitched by 11-year-old Ellen Pilkington in 1852. One of the things I loved about the sampler was all the vases she chose to stitch. I've included some of them here, along with the fascinating birds, rabbit, and a couple of her flowers. This is a companion to the reproduction of that sampler, which I've named Red Bull and Odd Bird. And that's this one. I love hearing the stories behind the charts. Okay, then we got Primrose Cottage. Let me just start with Luna, which is their newest needle minder. Such a cute little bat. This is 10. And then Autumn U is 9. My magic wand, which of course is your needle, is also 9. And then there's 4 more in the garden variety series. Let's get these in alphabetical order. So we have apples, corn. I need to do this corn because my grandfather was famous for his Silver Queen variety that he grew in West Virginia. He was also the beekeeper. Pumpkins and sunflowers. And then their bigger charts were Salem Sisters Sweet Shop, Plentiful Harvest, and Seasonal Samplings Autumn, which is the 4th and last one in the series. And let's see, all of those were 14. All right, so is that it? That is all that I got this last week. Okay, my whip, yes, only one whip. I did start Ohio State Spool, which I thought I might last week. That's what the whole thing looks like. This is one of 17 that April has designed so far. And what I have done so far, probably maybe one long evening and I'll get this finished. So I basically have a little bit more of the red lettering to do and then the guitar. And I stitched the gray background first and then I, added the top of the spool and then I put the football, then I did the bottom of the spool, then I put the 1803 and then I put the white because I like to do the white first. And the red is just DMC 347, but I didn't want to take any chances. So I wet it first and let it dry to make sure it didn't bleed off onto the white. And I like to do things like the lettering or the numbers last so that they create the most impact. Sometimes when you do, I know it's tempting to do that first and then fill in the background, but sometimes the way the thread overlaps in each hole kind of, I don't know. If you know, you know. I just like to do those things last. But then it's a little scary because then you're afraid that you counted wrong and didn't leave the right amount of spots. And so I did make a mistake with the brown over here. It needs one more stitch. And of course I already wound off all the tails. So I have to add one more stitch over. I don't know, maybe I don't have to. Maybe the letter would look okay that way. But anyway, she's got the football there. We have the Football Hall of Fame in Canton and the guitarist for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which we have here in Cleveland. And then the script Ohio kind of looks like what the Ohio State Marching Band is known for, and that's in Columbus. So I love everything about it. I would love to do the places where my family lives. So I may think about doing that someday. What she says on the back of the spool series is, do you have a charm bracelet with a collection of charms that remind you of treasured memories? We created this series. She's including her daughter, Haley. Haley? Yes. We created this series to add stitching charms to our creative space and celebrate our adventures throughout the United States. And I thought that was really cool. So I don't know if she's necessarily started with states that she had been to or just states that she happened to research and had good ideas for first. But anyway, it's really cute. I don't know how I'm going to finish it. I did it on 28 mushroom Lugana, and boy, is that easy to stitch with 2 strands at night when you're tired, or maybe when you don't have the most excellent lighting. I've really enjoyed working on that, and so I'll probably finish that pretty soon. Then the last thing I can tell you is that the winner of the pumpkin from Little House Needleworks from last time is, she goes by Char J57 on FlossTube, and it's Charlotte Jorgensen. And her comment about the floss was that burnt orange from General Art was her favorite. I put that there so I would remember. But wow, did Weeks Dye Works sweet potato run away with the voting? Yeah, so a lot of people. I mean, I didn't put choices down. I just said, which orange do you like best for a pumpkin? And sweet potato was by far, I think there were, 9, and then there were like lots of DMC colors. And I think Classic Colorworks Embers was the second one that came up in the voting. But I thought that was really interesting. So, okay, there's not going to be a giveaway this week because it might be 3 weeks before I do another in-person video. Next Sunday, I will be photographing the Medina Needle Art Show at the Brunswick Library. And although it's tempting to think that I could do a blog type video throughout the week, whenever I have that idea, it never happens. So I better not advertise that. So let's just say I'm not going to do a video next week. And then the week after, the 21st, that's when I will post the video of all the entries for that show. So I won't be back again until the end of the month. So I thought I don't want to have it drag on for that long. Let's see, the last thing I should mention is that don't forget to send me your photos either through email or Facebook Messenger of your Halloween decor. I specifically want Halloween rather than just autumn. I might do an autumn one next year, but I would prefer to just have Halloween pictures this time. And your name will be entered in a drawing for as many usable photos as you send me that are included in the video. And you'll win a $25 gift certificate to the shop. So as you're decorating, make sure you take some current photo. Well, no, it doesn't have to be current. If you already have photos of some of your Halloween stitching, please feel free to use those as well. But I do like to see, a setup, a dining room table, a tiered tray, a grouping. I tend to show individual pictures because I take them that way for social media posting. But I would love to see, a whole display of your Halloween. So, okay, I think I covered everything for this week. Hope to remember to put those 2 photos at the end. And I guess that's it. So enjoy the next few weeks without me yapping at you. The next one that goes up will still be worth it because it'll have a lot of beautiful needlework and beading and knitting and quilting. Okay. Alrighty. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.